Lesson Sharp 11. Aliens. Have you ever flown in your sleep? Each of us has flown at least once, without wings, just soared through the sky. How amazing it is. There were mountains and clouds in the dream. They were floating somewhere down there, and I was rushing forward. Something quickly flashed to my right like a comet that entered the atmosphere, hissed and landed neatly as a dark dot in the distance. At the last moment there was a blinding light and a loud sound, and then everything disappeared. Curiosity drew to know, what is it? I directed my flight in that direction. It seems to be a spaceship, but somehow, I knew it wasn't entirely true. The ship was very ancient and consisted of several boats attached to each other. Is one of them hit? I thought. In the past huge ships were built, and these boats were always located on the sides of the hulls of starships. If a ship was in distress, the lifeboats would be separated from it, rushing out to either side, and then dock to each other in order to divide the resources of the engines to flight and provide people in space with everything they needed. This ship consisted of 8 boats. Moreover, one of them was so damaged that it couldn't fly itself, after all the other boats were pulling it as if it were in tow. But why did they take this junk with them? There is only one answer to this question. The ship is crowded, and this damaged boat serves as a living space or cargo bay. While I was thinking, people started coming out of the ship. Well, if you can call them that. They turned out much larger than Earthlings, and they had something incomprehensible with the back of their heads. These parts of the body looked much more massive and larger in proportion. The alien's skin glowed blue-orange. Or it is not skin, but a spacesuit. One of the women moved away from the ship, and I felt rather than saw the light coming from her head. It flared up intensely in the center of the head and radiated from the bridge of the nose. The woman also sent waves in all directions. What's it? The wave reached me, and I heard a voice in my head. Hello? Hello? Where are you from? The woman turned towards me. I thought the traveling consciousness was not visible, but the woman looked at me clearly and said, "We are from Mars." What? But Mars has been uninhabited for a long time, hasn't it? The woman was clearly creating images, and in a moment I saw Mars. At first, the way it was many thousands of years ago, similar to the Earth, only the vegetation there was not green, but green-blue. And then the Martian woman broadcast to me what her planet looks like now: vast, endless, empty silence, mountains and sands. I would say that not a trace remained of the riot of life, but this was not the case. There was a lot of energy and light in this space. A lot of heartfelt warmth and participation. There are many sounds of beauty in the symphony of greatness. I let out an involuntary sigh. Oh, how beautiful it is. The woman smiled inwardly and said, "Yes, we love the home that has sheltered us again." And I saw the images of boats that were hastily moving away from the Earth, pursued by the same boats. At this moment one of them was hit by a shot, but it was able to reach the others and dock. From others, the escape was covered with crossfire. I shuddered. The woman seemed to have the same feelings. "It's all over," she whispered almost aloud. "Why are you here?" I asked. "The Earth is losing energy. We will restore the pyramids, and maybe civilization, if we are lucky. Only a completely unreasonable world can live in such a dense cloud. What can be restored here?" "Do you have a way to defeat the hostile mind that controls space?" I asked. The woman sighed. "If we could restore the cosmic energy supply and close the contour of the planet, then yes. But you would have to resort to the help of the natives. You yourself cannot cope," I thought, and frowned. "And we came to teach them," was the reply. My surprise was boundless. But others have left the solar system and abandoned us precisely because it is impossible. This cannot be done from the outside. All manifestations are blocked by a hostile mind. And we'll try it from the inside," the woman said. I began to perceive the images she generated. She showed the restoration of the pyramids. Several giant people sat motionless with a detached look, but looking deeper, it became clear that it was they who, passing flows of energy through themselves and working free together as a triangle, concentrate the area of a strong electromagnetic field. Others, however, made melodious sounds with the boxes that resembled small children's cars. But no one paid any attention to the sonority of the melody. The giants seemed to see the streams coming from the machines and directed them at the huge blocks. They moved these blocks by air over long distances. The two giants stood apart from the others, and it seemed that they were not taking part in the construction. But this was not the case. It was they who supported the contour. Their minds worked hard, freeing the territory from the manifestation of egregores, and the local people were attached to the biosphere and worked together as a single organism. Their electromagnetic fields were at a very high level of charge, and currents were flowing through them. Some supported the flows themselves, others were helped by giants. But even for those who could cope with the flow themselves, the energy was multicolored, and not white with transparent, like the giants. This is what I pointed out to the woman. She smiled and replied that it was temporary, then nature would take its own, and the displacement will go away. And children will not have this displacement from birth. Need time. Her confidence was charging, and I asked, and then what? A picture of the Earth from space appeared in my head, with a closed electromagnetic contour of high frequency, well perceived by people. I literally saw powerful streams of energy pouring into the Earth from space, which previously could only be dreamed of. Installations received them through the pyramids and distributed them throughout the Earth. The energy of people turned out to be noticeable even from space. These glowing rivers were different from those received by the pyramids. They were more alive. The mind spread out across the universe, receiving warmth and carrying the essence of life into the distant stars. Everything breathed, the space glowed. I felt very good for a moment, and then it hurt incredibly. I almost broke off contact with the woman, but she held me back. "Don't react so violently," she said to me with her lips alone, unsure if I was still attuned to her brain. "It's all over. Maybe I can help take away your pain. It doesn't allow you to develop." I looked at the woman. "Yes, I know. But at the same time, it leaves me on the Earth. I promised myself that I would stay here until things got better." Feeling that I was blushing, I asked, "Where did you get these images of Earth?" "From the past." Images of the bunker began to appear in my mind's eye, and of me as a man standing and looking out into a crushed, burned out world. "Yes," the woman said, "before that. Have you tried contacting the reptilians whose world this stuff blew up? It is their artificial intelligence that is out of control." The woman shook her head. "They almost all died." "What, no one survived on other planets?" "They are more collective than we are. Their civilization has been overtaken by a chain wave, and the mind has destroyed itself." "Now I see why other intelligent worlds aren't helping us," I said, throwing up my hands in the air and imagining an explosion, making a small pop. "Did any of the civilizations manage to deal with a similar problem?" "Yes. We were told that this is a serious stage in the development of the collective mind, and we are on the way to overcome it." At that moment, a stream of images poured over me. It was an interweaving of mountains, into which energy entered and went out. Mountains, or something similar to them, were floating directly in space, without a planet, or rather, there was a planet, but in the form of a transparent cloud perhaps. I cannot describe anything else from this picture. I felt a little nauseous, and I interrupted my inner gaze at the interlocutor, so as not to aggravate the situation. "What is it?" "Our nearest neighbors." "I see. I just have to say goodbye." The woman separated the small stream from the spine and with her consciousness transferred the wave to me. I did the same. For a moment we stood like this, and then I imagined that I was in a body, and I felt myself lying on the bed. The stream of women continued to flow through me, but we were separated by millennia. I tried to remember the sensations, so I could always easily tune into her if necessary. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. All have a good mood and bye.